August 12th, 1994. It's humid in Montreal. Olympic Stadium, well, it's alive. The Expos, they're 74-40. Best record in baseball. A franchise that has never reached a World Series suddenly looks like destiny. Tony Gwynn, he's hitting .394. Not flirting with 400. Charging right at it. Matt Williams, he's got 43 home runs. Roger Maris, 61, isn't looking so safe. Ken Griffey Jr. is baseball's future. The Yankees, they're relevant again. And at 4:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it all stops. No October, no postseason, no World Series for the first time since 1904. Not because of war, not because of tragedy, because of money. That afternoon didn't just cancel a season, it fractured trust. When trust breaks in sports, it changes generations. This is the turning point. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Triple T podcast. Yes, it's been called many things in its existence, but now we are the turning point. Triple T, see, it still has 3 T's and we're mixing some things up. Gotta be honest with you, conspiracy theories, I like them. I enjoy them. Luther, he likes them. He enjoys them. But there's so many conspiracy theory podcasts out there that are doing just a much better job than me. And I started to get to the point where I was just kind of like, I gotta go do a podcast with Luther. Luther, do you feel like doing this podcast? And Luther's like, oh, I'm pretty busy. And you're pretty busy. And it just started to kind of feel like work. All right. And when this is all a side hustle to me, this is all for fun. I needed to do something that was a little more fun. So I had an idea, the turning point, where I can start to take concepts, ideas, and stuff that I'm very passionate about, still do the conspiracy, the histories, the mysteries, but dive a little bit deeper into something a little more passionate. And what's starting up? Baseball. What do I collect? Cards. Baseball has always been a love of my life. So it's going to be a little bit of that with some other stuff that I think is going to fit perfect here. We're going to do some ranking. We're going to do some... It's going to be awesome. Let me prove it to you. Give this rest of the episode a listen, and we'll get there. We'll see. All right? So let's get right into the turning point. So to understand 1994, you have to understand power. By the early 90s, MLB players had won nearly every major labor battle that they had since the 70s. Free agency, it existed. Arbitration, guess what? Also existed. Salaries were exploding, which is kind of funny if you think about where they are now to then. But at this time, they were pretty big because let's put this in context, right? 1975, the average MLB salary was about $44,000. By 1993, that same average in MLB salary was now over $1 million. That's not inflation. That's leverage. The MLBPA, the Major League Baseball's Player Association, wasn't just strong, well, physically, but it was the strongest union in American professional sports. Meanwhile, the owners, they started to claim, well, small market teams couldn't compete. Payroll disparities, they were unsustainable. Revenue imbalance threatened the league. Their proposed solution? A salary cap. Modeled after the NFL. Players, well, they saw it differently. A cap wasn't balance. It was a ceiling on earning power. And if you cap salaries once, you control the future. Negotiations began in 1993, and unfortunately, they stalled. Tension built into spring training of 1994. But the season has still started because no one believed that they'd actually cancel October. I mean, that was absolutely unthinkable, right? And why this is even hitting a little bit harder is there's talks of another lockout. There's talks of another potential big moment in baseball history, especially if the Dodgers continually do what they do and win. That's a whole different topic, right? Yeah, right. So not we, because, I mean, at this time I'm only like 9 years old, but let's jump over to August 12, 1994. The players strike. Owners wait. Weeks pass. September 14th, 1994. The rest of the season is canceled. The World Series is canceled. That decision, not the strike itself, but it's the turning point because strikes had happened before, but October always survived. But not this time. And Bud Selig said it was necessary. Don Fair said it was ownership greed. But fans, they didn't hear policy arguments. You know what we heard? We heard silence. And honestly, we felt betrayed. I felt betrayed. I was a 9-year-old that couldn't watch the closest MLB team to me, the Montreal Expos, potentially win their first World Series ever. This place around here was buzzing. It was the only place I could get in a car and drive within a couple hours and watch some baseball. And now it's all gone. All of it. Gone. All right. I feel like I've rambled on enough. We need to bring in Luther. Yeah, you thought I was just leaving Luther behind? Come on now. Would I do that? I miss Luther. Ooh, I choked up on my words. Yeah, that's how much I miss him. Ladies and gentlemen, back on the show, my co-host, the baseball-loving fan, Luther Gramwood, steps up to the plate. He's been on in the batter's box the whole time. Luther, what's up, dude?
Well, hey there. I've been watching every pitch, and I'm ready to knock this one out of the park. We've got stats, we've got stories, and I'm bringing my glove for any curveballs you throw. Let's talk turning points.
Yes. So obviously he got the memo. He read the notes. Triple T Podcast, it could be anything, and it has been a lot of different things. But how do you feel about the turning? Oh, my God. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I love it. The turning point gives us that perfect pivot. Every episode zeroes in on a moment that changed the game, the culture, or even history. It's like we're stepping up to the plate with a fresh count every time. Big swings only.
Big swings only. Which, I mean, let's be honest, it's cool when everybody comes out and says, we're hitting dingers, right? But, I mean, it's not called the turning point. That would be TTP, and it'd probably be a little bit crappy because it sounds like TP, right?
Yeah, we're not here to be the toilet paper podcast. Triple T's got that nice ring, like a triple play. Smooth, rare, and game-changing. So we stick to TTT, and we're knocking out turning points like we're chasing history.
The turning tide, something like that. Well, we'll figure this out. But either way, this is something that we decided as baseball-loving fans, history nerds, baseball history seem to make sense. And this is just for this week. We got a whole blueprint, so give us the next 10 to 12 weeks every Tuesday or whenever you get around to watch it, because this is going to be good. I'm excited for it. Are you? Are you? It's like a robot. Are you excited for this, Luther?
Oh, you better believe it. I'm revved up like it's the bottom of the ninth. History, baseball, and turning points. I'm as excited as a fan on opening day. Let's give him something they'll be counting down for each week.
Ooh, I like this. So I know you were listening, but we are talking about the 94 lockout. Without giving spoilers, I just want your honest opinion. How upset were you? How annoyed were you? How did you feel with the 94 MLB strike? I mean, let's be honest. That's the moment baseball broke.
You know, it felt like someone just ripped the heart out of the season. You had legends chasing history, fans dreaming big, and then poof, gone. It was frustrating, confusing, and left us all wondering if the game would ever feel the same. But, like any good turning point, is what came next that changed everything.
It is exactly what changed everything. But, all right, emotion aside, we need to look at the receipts, right? What was the total MLB attendance in 1993?
In 1993, total MLB attendance was around 70 million fans. So yeah, baseball was booming until that strike came along.
All right, and let's put this in perspective. What was the MLB average attendance or overall attendance in 1995?
By 1995, attendance dropped significantly, down to roughly 50 million fans. It took years for the game to climb back to pre-strike levels, and that dip was a clear signal of just how much trust was broken.
Yeah, and who do you think, in your honest opinion, based on the numbers, was going to win that 1994 World Series?
Oh, my heart says the Montreal Expos had that magic. They were stacked, and that was their shot. But hey, baseball loves a good what-if, right? That's the beauty of a season cut short. Every fan can cling to their own would have been tale.
That is true, I suppose. Who do you think, in your opinion, that the Expos would have played? I mean, in the NL, they were there. The Braves were making a strong run. They were only a couple of games back at the time. Cincinnati, Houston, they were all right. My poor Pirates still stunk at baseball. But I'm gonna tell you what, the Yankees were rolling. I believe at the time they were 70-43, so just a couple of games behind Montreal's 74 wins. And honestly, the White Sox in the at the time it was the Cleveland Indians. They were nothing to mess with as well.
Oh, the what ifs of 94. The Expos Yankee showdown would have been a dream scenario. Montreal's best versus the resurging Bronx. But I'll tell you, the White Sox with Frank Thomas or Cleveland's powerhouse lineup, no easy path. In the end, we were robbed of a legendary October, and that's what stings the most.
It still hurts. Oh man, and
I hear you. But hey, that's why we're here, to unpack those turning points and see how the game we love was reshaped. Plus, we get to speculate and argue. Because let's face it, what's baseball without a little debate?
that is true. What is life without a little bit of debate, you could potentially say as well. But so do you think Tony Gwynn reaches 400? Do you think Ken Griffey tears less hamstrings because of this lockout?
I'd love to say Gwynn hits 400. The guy was a hitting artist, but fate and pitching can be cruel. As for Griffey, the strike didn't fix those hammies. But hey, what can dream? That's the beauty of baseball. There's always room for what ifs.
That is true. So kind of going back to the numbers, how many teams saw a 20% or more attendance drop because of the strike?
About a third of MLB teams took that big hit. Roughly 10 or so clubs saw attendance plummet by 20% or more in 95. Fans weren't just upset. Some stayed home in protest. It took a while to heal that.
It really did. And I mean, in a game, in a strike that essentially was about money, what do you think? I mean, I'm not expecting a real number, but let's throw out a number that you think it actually cost MLB by having this strike.
Well, while I can't give you a ledger down to the dollar, estimates back then said the strike cost MLB at least $500 million. In today's money, that's a hefty chunk of change. The ripple effects, though, those shape the future.
Yeah. How long do you think that it roughly took for attendance to recover all the way back to those 1993 levels?
It took until around the late 90s, specifically 1998, to fully recover to those pre-strike attendance levels. Let's just say that Maguire Sosa home run chase in 98 wasn't just for fun. It brought fans stampeding back.
It sure did. I always said that was the season that saved baseball. I mean, what an exciting time that was. Unbelievable.
It really was electric. Every at-bat felt monumental, and whether we knew the full story or not, it reignited the magic. That's what turning points do. They change the whole game.
You aren't kidding. So we talked about before you jumped on the average salaries from the 70s, how it went from hundreds of thousands. What was the number here? I want to say it was like $44,000. Hold on, I'm going back to my show notes real quick. Yeah, in 1975, the average MLB salary was $44,000. 93, it was over $1 million for averages. So let me ask you this. All right, Luther. What was the average salaries, then from 94 to, I don't know, let's say 98?
From 1994 to 1998, MLB salaries kept climbing. By 98, the average salary was around 1.4 million. So despite the strike's fallout, the player paychecks definitely didn't stall. The game might have been bruised, but those contracts were alive and well.
So, I mean, in your opinion, who really lost out by not having a World Series in 1994?
Honestly, the biggest losers were the fans. They lost their October magic, the what could have been stories. Sure, the Expos missed their shot, players lost pay, and owners missed revenue. But the fans lost something irreplaceable. A chance to witness history.
A chance to witness history. I mean, I'm not mad about the 94 Yankees or the Yankees not having another World Series potential, but in your opinion, because I have my opinions here. Do you think if this lockout doesn't happen, Montreal is still playing baseball today?
You know, it's hard not to wonder. If that Expos team got their World Series shot, maybe it changes the trajectory. More fan support, more revenue, maybe they'll move to DC. But we'll never know. That's the heartbreak of what didn't happen and why this turning point is so big.
You're right. I don't know. My gut truly says Montreal goes on, wins himself a World Series. They still have that baseball team in Canada. Maybe I'm a little selfish because, like I said earlier, it was the closest, place that I could go for live baseball. But I'm telling you, I truly think that they still are playing baseball there.
Hey, I love that passion, and who knows? That one season could have altered baseball's entire map. That's the beauty of turning points. When we look back, we see how close we were to a different baseball universe. And hey, in our minds, the Expos still got that trophy.
I guess so. I would just love an Expos hat. So if anybody out there has an Expos hat they want to hook me up with, I'd appreciate that. But let me ask you this. Do you think that because of all of this, franchise values declined post-strike? I mean, not all of them, but I would have to imagine most of them. You said that a third of baseball, or almost 10 teams, had such terrible attendance record. Did this strike just, take the value of these teams and really, really hurt them at the end of the day?
In the short term, yeah, some values dipped. Uncertain fans mean cautious investors. But long term, franchise values soared. By the 2000s, they were breaking records. So that strike might have been a bruise, but MLB's business machine didn't just recover. It thrived.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I guess you could say it that way. I mean, we're looking at this. How many teams from that season when it was locked out do not exist today other than Montreal?
Aside from the Montreal Expos, every other team stuck around. The Expos became the Washington Nationals, but all the rest, still out there, still play. Baseball's landscape shifted, but the league stayed whole.
It did, but what kind of stinks for me is the Florida Marlins are now the Miami Marlins, which I wish they'd bring the Florida Marlins back. I don't know if they had a plan to bring like another Florida baseball team, even though attendance isn't great down there.
Yeah, the Florida nostalgia is real. But hey, Miami still keeps the fish in the game, even if they ditch the teal. As for another team in Florida, well, maybe one day, if the attendance gods ever smile.
Well, I mean, you have Tampa Bay, but I was just saying like in general. But you also had the California Angels, which are now obviously the LA Angels, right?
Exactly. The Angels went through more name changes than a free agent looking for a contract. California, Anaheim, Los Angeles. But no matter the city, it's still baseball. And still that same game we love.
Yeah, I mean, they had Ohtani at one point, and even he had to go to a team that didn't change their name nearly as much as them.
That's right. Ohtani landed with the Dodgers, who, despite switching coasts a long time ago, have kept their name pretty steady. It just goes to show in baseball, whether it's names, teams, or players, change is part of the game.
It's unbelievable. I mean, at the end of the day, fans, they were punished, but the baseball machine just kept cashing in, right? And that added some pretty powerful tension now, didn't it?
Absolutely. That's the bittersweet truth. Fans' hearts broke, but the league, well, it evolved and profited. And that tension between love of the game and the business of the game, that's a turning point we still feel. And it's why we keep talking about it.
It is why we keep talking about it, especially spring training and off seasons when stories are, a little bit lower, I guess. But I'm gonna keep chatting, and I'm gonna probably jump into a little bit more of the Maguire, Sosa, and that whole steroid era, and a little bit of a connection there. I don't. Do you want to stick around and finish this episode, or you got plans? You a busy boy.
I'm here for the long haul. Let's dive into Maguire, Sosa, and all the fireworks. I'm ready to break down the numbers, the drama, and the aftermath with you. No seventh inning stretch needed.
All right, we're not going to take you out to the ball game. We're going to keep going here. Maguire versus Sosa. I said it before and I'll say it again. I think this is the moment that saved baseball. You got a home run chase. America is glued again. ESPN wall to wall coverage. Stadiums packed. Kids, they're collecting cards again. Was it organic or was it salvation?
It was a bit of both, wasn't it? The magic of the long ball was real, but the timing, that was baseball's lifeline. In the end, it was a spectacle that recaptured hearts, whether pure or not. And here we are still talking about it.
Here we are still talking about it because it was a huge moment in time. So did you know what the most expensive card is? Baseball card from 1998 that collectors are chasing?
One of the crown jewels from that era is the 1998 Bowman Chrome International Refractor of Peyton Manning. Yes, even in baseball sets, that card is a beast. But if we're strictly baseball, certain refractor rookie cards, like of stars such as Adrian Beltre, are highly prized. 1998 was a turning point for cards too.
Yeah, if anybody out there wants to hook me up with a 98 Bowman Chrome Golden Anniversary Refractor, a Ken Griffey Jr., I'd be pretty cool with it. It was actually one of the first sets with limited serial numbered refractors, numbered to 5. So that one would be a pretty good one to hit, and I would definitely take one of those, graded or ungraded. But anyways, with all the home runs and all the stuff came allegations, came a little bit of drama, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The home run show brought excitement, but soon the whispers of performance-enhancing drugs followed. That era became a double-edged sword. It saved baseball, but it also left a complicated legacy. And as we know, the fallout was huge.
Huge, like my boy Barry Bonds not making it to the Hall of Fame, but that's something different. So let me ask you this, Luther, in your opinion, do you think that kind of MLB just looked the other way on the PEDs because the game needed resurrection? The game needed to be saved, and it was saving it.
In my opinion, it sure seems like there was a lot of selective ignorance. The league needed butts in seats, and those home runs were filling stadiums. It's a classic case of don't ask, don't tell until the bubble bursts. Once it did, well, the reckoning was unavoidable.
Yeah, I mean, owners, they needed revenue. Media needed spectacles, right? You know, fans needed joy again, and the long ball delivered it. I mean, it's been all over T-shirts, movies, quotes. Chicks dig the long ball, but so does everybody.
Exactly. The long ball was the lifeline that brought everyone back, even if the foundation was shaky. In the end, it gave us thrills, gave us controversy, and gave us a chapter we'll never stop debating. That's baseball. Complicated, but always captivating.
And I mean, this is debatable, and this is me throwing it out there just to throw it out there. Did the game maybe for the first time become entertainment first, power over purity? And like I said, instead of just the purity of the game, did it become entertainment first and get people in there? Did they start to see the model potentially of how WWF and stuff really started to ramp things up with this entertainment first?
It's fair to say that after the strike and the home run boom, the league leaned into the spectacle more than ever. While baseball's always had tradition, that era showed them that big entertainment could drive big business. So yeah, from that point on, balancing purity and showmanship became part of the playbook.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what changed structurally after 1994, I guess. So, Wildcard. When was that introduced, Luther?
The wild card came in hot right after the strike, debuting in the 1995 postseason. It expanded the playoff field and added more drama. And let's be honest, more revenue too.
And they continually add things like that to this day as part of their plan. But I mean, you just said it. Wild card, you get more teams in playoff, extra baseball. How did playoff expansion impact the revenue?
Oh, it was a gold mine. More playoff games meant more ticket sales, bigger TV deals, and more excitement. Expanding the postseason gave teams and the league more chances to cash in. In other words, the business of October got even bigger.
Got huge. And what else was getting bigger was the national TV contracts. How did you see that they changed, from 94 to 2000?
After the strike, MLB's TV contracts ballooned. By the late 90s and early 2000s, deals were worth billions. Networks wanted in on the action, and baseball, with its expanding playoff drama, was prime time again. So as the spectacle grew, so did the TV money.
Yeah, remember even like TBS had exclusive rights to the Braves game. It was wild. There were so many Braves fans up in an area that should have never had Braves fans just because they were on every night on TBS.
Oh, absolutely. TBS turned the Braves into America's team. When you're the only game on TV every night, you build a fan base coast to coast. It was a brilliant strategy for the time, and it's a reminder of how media deals shape fandom.
Absolutely. So when did MLB introduce revenue sharing adjustments then?
MLB started adjusting revenue sharing right after the strike, with major reforms kicking in by the 2002 collective bargaining agreement. The idea was to help smaller market teams stay competitive, at least on paper. Moneyball, but in the boardroom.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah. 95 wildcard, expansion 98. TV deals got huge. Team valuations skyrocketed huge by the early 2000s. I mean, let's be honest. They had the lockout. It sucked for all of us, but the business didn't shrink. It actually modernized. And I mean, the fans, what did we lose? People are just like, oh, you just lost your baseball. There's always going. Well, we lost innocence, right? Because the idea of baseball and how baseball is sacred, it's gone out the window. The belief that October was guaranteed, out the windows. And what did owners actually gain?
Owners gained structural evolution, more revenue sharing, expanded playoffs, bigger media deals. Essentially, they turned a crisis into a blueprint for the modern business of baseball. While fans lost trust, owners found a roadmap to keep growing the game on their terms.
Yeah, and they were able to, get a little more entertainment focus. And, well, with that being said, what did the players actually gain then?
The players held on to their biggest prize, no salary cap. They kept free agency intact, and over time, salaries continued to rise. So while the strike was painful, the players' union ultimately protected their financial future and their bargaining power.
Yeah, exactly. More money, long-term leverage, all intact. The modern game with the analytics, expanded playoffs, business first mentality. This is where it was born.
You nailed it. The 1994 strike didn't just end a season. It created the baseball blueprint we know today. Every pitch, every deal, every October, its DNA traces back to that turning point.
Yeah, it's ingrained in baseball. It's ingrained in everything that we do in the baseball world these days. And it just kept trickling down. And it's like, they have the lockout. We pay the price. And what did we pay the price for? So everybody else associated could continually get more and more money. And let's be honest, the logos for a lot of these World Series and All-Star games, they stink. And I blame the strike.
Hey, I get it. The strike left a lot of scars. While the business side soared, fans have every right to feel like they footed the emotional bill. But hey, even if the logos sting, the love for the game always brings us back. That's the pull of baseball, imperfections and all.
Absolutely. So I guess the 94 strike, it didn't kill baseball. It forced it to choose between traditional and survival, between purity and profit, between the game as pastime and the game as product.
That's exactly it. Baseball had to evolve. And in the end, it became a product. Still loved, but undeniably different. And every game since is played in the shadow of that turning point.
Yeah, like you said, once baseball became a product, it never went back. It could never go back. And that is exactly the turning point. Well done, Luther.
Thanks, you set it up perfectly. It's been a blast stepping up to the plate with you. Let's keep hitting these turning points out of the park, one episode at a time.
Yeah, we're going to continually shift it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. And like I said, Luther, I can't thank you enough for being here. Anybody still listening, I can't thank you enough. And shout out to the friends of the show, Squatch Juice. Check them out, squatchjuice.com/beard loss. Stay hydrated. It's good for the beard. It's good for the mind. It's good for the body. It's good for the soul. And check out Live Bearded. You can also use code BEARDLOSS. Save yourself some money. I'm telling you, it is the go-to American-made 365-day guarantee that you're going to love these beard products or they'll make it right. Who else does that? Nobody I know of in the beard industry. Check out livebearded.com and feel free to use code BEARDLOSS. Save yourself some money.
That's a wrap, folks. Thanks for sticking with us. Until next time, keep those beards legendary and those turning points rolling. See you at the next at-bat.
See you at the next at-bat. That's all we got. We'll be back next week. Take care, everybody.